Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. What is today? June 18th. We are about almost done with this round of calls. Well, next week we have Brooke Orchard as our hot seat guest, and then we'll do one more call going into Summit, and then we'll revamp them. So if you guys have any guests that you want on the hot seat call, just message me their names and I will track them down and try to get them to come be our guest. But today we have the most specialist guest, Vice President of Coach Development, Doug Moss. By your request, you guys have asked Doug to come talk to you guys. He is the volume expert. He's the placement expert. He works with all the superstars in the entire region. So all 15 stars he works with. So he knows exactly what's going on, what's coming. He's the go-to guy. So, Doug, why don't you start, if for those, and everyone knows you here, but still, why don't you tell them like how long you've been with Beachbody, kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more?
So I've been with the company now almost 6 years. Started as the director over the West region, which was essentially what Sydney is doing now, which is everything west of like Colorado. And then we expanded it to where I took Texas into the West. And then we expanded it again, and I ended up with the Central and the West. And so now, I'm the Vice President of Coach Development. I now work with the Superstar Diamonds. And then Darwin and Keyshawn report to me, who now are the directors of the West and the East. And, they essentially work with the 6 to 14 stars. I mean, we're divided all over the place depending on what region you're in. And then we've got the managers that report into them. I think my day-to-day now is much more, I meet with the superstars often with the idea of, what are they doing? What are their strategies, for things like the MM100, what's the launch look like, what they're scheduling, how they're going to run it. We actually have now created a superstar mastermind that runs every Monday right after the National Wake Up Call. And so that's just 15 stars, and it's just a great conversation about whatever's going on. And, they tend to take on Instagram. They talk a lot about the launches. We've had volume talks. We've had product talks. We've had, so we really, it's just a great discussion about what's going on with the business and, where do we go from here and what's happening. So with that, Sid, what do you want? So I will tell you, I'm a father of 5. I have 5 kids. If you don't know, my youngest is now 14. My next one is just graduated from high school, so she's gone. So we have 1 kid at home, which is like crazy. And today is actually my, 27th wedding anniversary. So if you have good ideas on how to do a post that's all about my wife, that'd be great. Send it to me and I'll use it. Anyway, it's funny. Anyway, she literally last night I was doing yard work when I got home and she's like, you realize what tomorrow is, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, right. Yeah, yes. But I did remember, but we've just had a ton of things going on right now. So yeah, Kate, send that over. That'd be appreciated. Just don't copy all these guys because I don't want them to know that I actually used what you sent me. So, and I'll be honest, I used to have Brittany, when Brittany worked here, man, she was spot on all the gifts. Like she and I would run wherever and go load up. So Sydney, you need to step up. So anyway, what's up? What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, guys, this is up to you guys. So I'll let you guys just take yourselves off mute, write in the chat. What do you want to know from Doug?
So I'll start. I was actually probably one of the biggest ones asking if we could get Doug on this call. So thank you so much for taking some time for us, Doug. So Mindy Horde and Christina Delgado are my mentors. And every time I have a question around volume or what place, every time it's like, talk to Doug. My goal this year, I've hit elite 3 times. Our team has had that success, but if I'm being 100% transparent, 2016 was my largest income year, and then 2017 hit, which we all know that was a challenging year. Not surprised at all, but my income hasn't grown. And that is, I truly think that we can have income and recognition because I've seen it over and over and over again. But what would you say is your best advice for somebody who is motivated by, you know, the bright, shiny things and wants to hit those large goals and wants to continue to empower her team to do that at the same time as saying, you can make a buttload of money and help. Obviously, I'm a firm believer too that your income is direct correlation of the lives that you impact. I have no doubt in that in my mind. But yeah, I don't know if I just rambled and if any of that made sense, but how do you do both?
Okay, so I think your question is you're working hard and your income needs to increase. And how do you get your income to increase when you've been building the business for a long time and now you feel like maybe it isn't, or, you know, maybe it's slowed? You know, guys, the answer to the income question is, so first and, you know, foremost, you guys are CEOs of your business, okay? You have to be able to understand what you're doing, okay? Yes, you know, it's interesting because I was on a call yesterday with Melissa McAllister and Julie Vorath, and they're prepping a training they're going to do at Leadership in the Leadership 2 workshop, which you guys are all going to be a part of. And what's interesting about Melissa and Julie, guys, literally, I'm sitting there talking to these two are both 9-time elite. They'll be 10-time elite this year. I mean, Melissa McAllister's already hit it, so she's technically really already 10-time elite. But yesterday they were like, now how do you earn elite points? Like what does that look like? And why would I tell you that? Because they're just doing the work and they know, like, helping people, inviting, you know, like that's the process of the business. And I think sometimes we look at it like, I need to go get elite points. And in reality, that's not how they look at it. They look at it like, I need to go sign coaches, duplicate, get my coaches hit Success Club. I need to hit Success Club. I've got to be inviting. But like their business is focused on the activities and the result is elite points. They're not focused on elite points and the result is coaches and people. Like that's not it. So when you talk to these guys, it's just a different world of how their brains are going. No, the byproduct is elite points. The goal is helping people and working with these guys. If I was to tell you, you know, hey, how do you build the business to create more money? Okay, let me lay out a couple of things. Number one, if you can't answer these 3 questions, you need to figure out how to. First question you've got to be able to answer every time you sponsor a coach is sponsored by who? The second one is placed where, and the third one is why. If you're just sponsoring coaches and placing them on your right leg because you think that's what you're supposed to do, I think you're wrong. You need to look at your business and understand why you're placing people there. And it needs to make sense to you, okay? When I do a one-on-one, I literally draw CBC1, 2 legs, average week side or average left side volume for the last 6 weeks is, you know, let's pick a number. So if it goes 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, then I say, man, it's about 4,000 for the last 6 weeks. Then I do the right side and I do the same thing. And then I go in and I say, okay, so that's my left and my right. Then I'm looking at the spouse account if there is one. Where's that one at? Okay, it's on the left side. Great. Now let's go look at the average 6-week volume left side, right side for the spouse account. I placed that. Now I'm going to go Business Center 2. Where did I put it? Wherever it is, draw it. Draw 2 legs. Go get the average week side volume, left side, right side for that Business Center. Because if you don't know that and you don't know how to look at your business, I don't know how you decide where to put a coach. Because a lot of you are saying, yeah, it's my weak side. I put it on my week. Well, which week and why? And what's the benefit? What's the long-term play? You know, coaches ask me, you know, Doug, do I build for rank? Do I build for volume? Or do I build for bonuses? And the answer is, it depends. you build for all those things at a specific season based on where you're at in the business. If you're sitting at 9-star and, hey, I got to get to elite, I would argue, well, sure, but dude, there's $15,000 on the table if you go get to 10 stars, so go freaking get to 10 stars. Like, the bonus doesn't matter until it matters. So you guys as leaders just need to understand that you're the CEO of your world, and you've got to figure out how you're going to approach this. And everything you do is a decision that impacts your income, okay? But when you say to me, man, I want to build money while I'm building the business, okay? Let me help you with a very simple principle. Volume comes from people helping people, okay? What does that mean? Well, if you're going to go sign 10 coaches, then you're going to get the volume from 10 coaches. If you're going to go sign 3 coaches that are each going to go sign 10, well, now you're going to get the volume of 30 coaches. So you guys have got to understand that, the elite program is awesome. It is anyway. I mean, I can argue all day about why the elite program makes sense. But where the elite program is special is that the goal is you hit it, and then you've got to flip that thing around, and it's got to be about your team hitting it. If you want to make money in this business, you've got to build star diamonds. This is not about building diamonds. Diamonds get you ranked. Star diamonds increase your income, okay? And when I talk to you about sponsored by who, placed where, and why, the reason I'm saying that is because if I sponsor, let's say I have a business and I've got 2 legs, I've got a spouse account, now I've got my second business center, and I'm signing Sydney Maurer as my next coach, and let's just say Sydney is going to go create 1,000 weekly volume, okay? Well, if I put that 1,000 on my left side, on the outside leg of my first business center, well, I'm going to get 1,000 volume. If that's a weak leg, great. I'm going to get paid on it to my first. If I place it underneath my spouse, I may get paid on it twice. If I get paid underneath my second, I could get paid on it 3 times. But if I place it in the wrong spot because she told me she was going to be a discount coach and now she's working and she ends up on a strong leg because I thought that's where I needed a coach in order to keep my spouse active, and it's actually sponsored by him, dude, that 1,000 weekly volume could pay me nothing. My point to you is you guys have got to be paying attention. This idea, you guys are the core of the business. When we're talking 5 to 8 stars, you guys are you're it. And you guys have got to be able to say, CEO mindset, what does my business look like and why am I doing what I'm doing? And you need to have answers to the questions. And if you're on this call saying, sponsored by who? I mean, it's me. Well, no, it's either you number 1 or you number 2. Okay. I mean, you have 2 of you. Placed where? Well, you have your left leg, leg number 1, right leg, leg number 2, spouse's inside leg, leg number 3, business center number 2 has a 4th leg. So you actually have 4 spots you could be playing with if you have 2 business centers and a spouse account. That's household income. So I just want you to understand that as a leader and as the CEO of your business, you've got to start to wrap your brain around why are you doing what you're doing, and is it maximizing the opportunity for you to make more money, right? Dude, when I do one-on-ones with superstars or whatever the rank is, certainly we are in the business of helping people. The mission and the mission statement of the company is not a made-up statement. It is. Every meeting we're in with Carl, it goes back to the mission statement every single time. Are we helping people reach their goals to lead a healthy, fulfilling life? What does that look like? Okay. Well, we are, but how does that, go to the business, and are you guys paying attention? And I'll tell you this too. There's 2 things that you guys have under your personal control in building the business. One is your recruiting. Where are you placing your coaches? Sponsored by who, placed where, and why. The second one is your time. Where are you putting your time? Okay. Well, your time can go anywhere you want to put it. I would argue that your time should go to your weak leg. And if there's someone down there, I don't even care if they're a personally sponsored coach. If you've got a coach on a weak leg somewhere that's trying, that's wanting to work the business, my gosh, go spend time with them, help them. But that doesn't mean I'm going to sponsor coaches and put them there necessarily. I might need to be building diamonds to go 10-star. So I got to build my right leg. So I'm going to be sponsoring over here, but my time's going to go over here. So really, you guys have got to be lining up. What are you doing with your sponsoring coaches and customers? And what are you doing with your time? Okay. And it's the nature of a binary that if you've got a builder on your strong leg, I mean, certainly you love them and you want to take care of them, but guys, they do not mean as much to you as someone on your weak leg that's trying, that needs to be mentored and helped to build the business. So as you understand the binary and you understand placement, that's how you increase your income. But Melissa, to go all the way back, we just got to get Star Diamonds being built. And I hope that that's what.
Yeah, I don't know much either, just as far as.
All right, other questions, sorry. Does that make sense, Melissa, first of all?
Yes, no, and that's exactly what I've been doing. I think it's just having that patience and really helping those people who haven't quite got it yet, just really leaning into that mentorship, because duplicating truly is where it's at. So
it is, you know, we're learning that it's much more about the relationship than, you know, trust me, you know, when we hear, you know, hey, I hit Success Club 100, guys, that's not the goal. I mean, but if you have 50 people who want to buy challenge packs from you, I'm assuming you would sell it to them. So sure. But as far as the goal is to sign as many people as you can help and then help them. And then the next month, sign as many people as you can help. But, you know, as a company, we give you Success Club 5 and Success Club 10 as a goal so that you'll understand that, man, there's a minimum level of activity that I ought to be producing. But, you know, if you sign more, great. The question is, you know, I mean, I deal with some great coaches who sign a lot of people, you know, and whenever someone calls and says, man, Doug, I just signed 10 great coaches. I mean, man, they're all wanting to build. It's incredible. I look at them and, man, they're all just fantastic. I always say the same thing. Who's the one? Like, I get it. I understand you signed the 10 and I'd love the 10, but listen, you cannot bring 10 coaches forward at the same pace. You're still looking for your racehorses. And if you try to bring them forward, you'll burn them all out. You need to bring them forward at their pace, and you've got to be looking for your runners. And it's like the nature of the business is, if I got 10 that are saying they want to do it, man, I'm diamond mining, man. Where's the one? And I'd love to have there be 3 in there. But as a leader and as, you know, understanding the business, I'm looking for the one, and then I'll go find the other one. But I just need the one. And I think that's where you need to, you know, and you guys got to understand. And let me be clear. If you sign 10 coaches and they're all builders and you're like, I'm going to put one over here and one over here and one over here, and I'm going to put one down there, and I'm going to do, like, if you do that strategy, great. But understand, the one might end up be the one that you placed on your spouse's strong leg because you need the coach to stay active, and then you're going to be pissed forever. So it's like, you got to understand that what you're doing matters, and you need to have a strategy and you need to stick to it.
I have a question. So my legs are all dead even, like my first business center, my spouse, and my second. So, and then I was placing in my first to push for 10-star. And so I was placing all these people up there, and I have a ton of like working, I'm putting quotes, working coaches in my first business center. So it's like, I know it will get there because of how many people I have placed there, but it's not there yet. It's not getting there anytime soon, I feel like. So then I went back to my second, but now I'm worried that I should go back to my first, but I don't want to lose out money because I don't want to stop placing my second. So basically, I just don't know where to place.
Okay, so my question for you is, okay, so you got to slow down. So I got Kate number 1, and I'm looking at the diagram I did with you December 14th of last year. Kate number 1, right leg Curtis, left leg Kate number 2.
Yeah.
Right? So your question is, you know, and I got old volume, so I get it. You're balanced here, you're balanced at Curtis, and now Kate number 2 is balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Rank-wise, where are you?
7-star in my first, and I have 3 diamonds in my second, but they keep dropping, so we keep dropping qual.
Okay, so Kate number 2 has never gone 2-star.
No, 1-star.
Okay, so here's the question I would have for you. So when you look at the business, you're building your second. So if we said your goal is income, and you said to me, okay, I want to build for income, how do I maximize the compensation? I would say to you, okay, why? So sponsored by who? Kate, Curtis, or Kate 2? You've said I'm sponsored by Kate 2. I'm placing on Kate 2's left and right leg because it's balanced and it doesn't really matter. I guess it matters based on where the diamonds are in Kate 2. So why is, well, Kate 2 needs a diamond on left side, so I'm going to place on the left side. So here's where I would argue with you. It would be, Kate, I'll pay you $15,000 to build 3 diamonds to Kate 1. Why are you not doing that?
Yeah.
Because you've just given 3 diamonds to Kate 2 in exchange for Kate 1 not being a 10-star. Okay? And right now you're sitting at, whatever, 3-star, 1-star, and 2, and 7-star and 1, when those could have been all sponsored by 1, making you a 10-star and 1, maximizing the bonus in 1. Now, I'm not going to tell you you've done it wrong. What I'm going to tell you is strategically thinking, man, moving forward, what should I do? And I would look at it and say, man, I want Kate 2 to go 2-star. Absolutely. But if I've got a builder on whichever leg I need it, I'm going to go put my time down there. But I think I come back to the top and I say, man, I want to get to 10-star because of that bonus. Guys, I don't build for bonus until I'm close. And when I look at it, you guys have got to understand that if I take a calculator, okay, and let's just do some simple math really quick because I want you to understand this. If I take $15,000 as the 10-star bonus, okay, I want to know how many cycles that is. I'm going to divide it by 18. Okay, so it's 833 cycles. Well, we get paid weekly, so I'm going to say there's 12 weeks in a quarter. So I'm going to divide that by 12, okay? And so here I am, it's 69.4. Let's call it 70. So the 10-star bonus is worth 70 cycles to you as a leader every week. That's what it's worth to you. Well, if I had to go build 70 cycles, that would mean I'd have to put 7,000 volume on one leg and 14,000 on the other for me to get those 70 cycles. So you have an option to go build 28,000 in volume or go build 3 diamonds to CVC 1. And so, I mean, when you look at it and you understand, wait a minute, what am I doing? And I'm not going to tell you to go do it. I'm going to tell you those are your decisions as the CEO to make. But Kate, you're spot on, though, with the idea that, man, but Doug, if I can get my second to 2-star, now I get my third, and now I could be getting paid 4 times on the same, 4 times on the same volume. 100%, I agree with you. But I guess where I'm going to go back to you is in the one-on-one, I would say, Kate, I'm sponsoring by 1 because I want that. I want to get to 10. I want that income that's tied to 10-star. I'm placing based on where I need diamonds. And if it's on the right side, it's going to go clear the freak down under Kate 2. And if it's on the left side, it's on the outside left because that's all I got. But my time is going to be put in Kate 2's personally sponsored coaches on whichever leg she doesn't have that diamond so that I can go get her to 2-star. Because when I can get Kate 3, I'm going to throw Kate 3 down there. Now I've got the whole zipper thing set up. But then you're going to come to me and say, yeah, but when do I build Kate 3? Guys, I don't build it until I need to build it. Until there's volume down there that I'm going to get paid on, I don't build it. I place under it, but I don't build it. And then what happens is, man, it's going to cycle 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, just pop it to Emerald. Let's take the $14 off of the 3 cycles. Let's take the $30 a week. It's $120 a month. Sure, I want it. But I just want you to understand how that all sets up. Doug dreams in binary. No, dude. I don't know why this works for me, but I just get it somehow. I don't know.
I have a question.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I have 2 questions, actually.
Uh-oh, last one scares me.
Okay, so if we're all like shooting for, we all want the recognition, but we also obviously want the income.
Yep.
Besides building for rank, right? If you're trying to get your second CBC or third CBC to something, wouldn't we always be if we can, if the volume is the exact same, like, would we always be sponsoring by your first PA, you as number 1? It's the exact same. Like if I'm sponsoring a coach, Jamie number 1 and Jamie number 2, is the volume the exact same?
Volume's the exact same. Yeah. So if 2 is obviously under 1, so if I sponsor by 2, it's going to be placed, and the volume is all going to count for 1. So am I always sponsoring by 1? Should I? Well, the answer is no, because when I say sponsored by who, placed where, and why, that third question of why matters, right? Because if you're going to tell me that I don't have enough coaches to stay active in 2, well, then I got to sponsor by 2, or whatever. I mean, like there's a lot of reasons why you do what you're doing. And so, and that's the hardest part, is I can't tell you your why. Like there's so many different things that come into play. We can draw and directionally say, sponsoring by 1, I need diamonds on the left side, so therefore I'm going to sponsor on the left. My why is I need left side diamonds, right? Placed, I might be putting it deep. Now, guys, the best story I've got for you about making money at Beachbody is literally, I did a one-on-one for Jessica Vandenberg. Jessie is from Seattle, and this is several years ago. And it was like January, summits in July, and we were building towards it. And she said, Doug, I'm a 7-star, and I've got 2 goals. I said, awesome. What are your goals? She goes, I want to be 15-star by summit. I've got working girls. I got everything lined up. I think I can get to 15-star by summit. In doing that, she said, I'm currently making like $3,000 a week, and I want to make $5,000 a week. I really want to make $20,000 a month. And I said, awesome, man, if we can get your income to go to, if we can get you to 15-star with the number of diamonds you're going to create, that's going to put a bunch of volume in your business. If we place it properly, we can get you to $5,000 a week. Long story short, we get to summit. Jessie she's still a 7-star. None of her diamonds advanced. She didn't get any of the goals. People came and went, and, she had these great goals, great intentions, didn't get it done. But what was interesting is I said to her, yeah, but what about goal number 2? And she said, I forget, what was my second goal? And I said, well, you wanted to get to 5,000 a week. And she came back and said, interesting, Doug, I'm over 5,000 a week. And I'm like, wait, what happened? And she said, I don't know. Like, I don't know how my income went up by, more than 1,500 a week when my rank didn't. Guys, essentially what happened is her personally sponsored diamonds were continuing to hit 1-star and 2-star. So the volume was still being built within the organization through the development of star diamonds, but she didn't get the diamond, like her rank didn't increase, but her personally sponsored, and not even personal, her downline coaches were advancing in the star diamond ranks, which is what would lift her income to that level. Obviously, it must have been on the right weak leg in order for that to trickle up to pay her the income increase that she got. My point is, or the takeaway is, diamonds build rank, star diamonds build pay. And when you understand that, now here's what I think a lot of coaches are missing. The Road to Elite program is awesome. Here's why. Because last year and every other year before that, we had all these coaches, all of you guys and your PS coaches were sitting here saying, yeah, I want to be elite at the end of the year. I want to get to elite. I want to get to elite. What would happen is, we'd get to July, August, and they would all go, I'm not going to make it, and they would fall off. Okay, well, the Road to Elite doesn't let that happen. You guys should be working with your PS coaches. They should all be on the road to Team Builder, and hey, you got to do, help people, and, let's do the fundamentals, and let's get you to Team Builder. Guys, once I get them to Team Builder, well, then the next step is Team Leader. I don't care if your goal is elite or whatever. Your next step is whatever the next step is. You got to get to Team Leader before you get to Premier, before you get to Elite. My point is, we now have a roadmap of recognition that drives your income as a leader. Because if you've got people hitting Success Club and trying to duplicate leadership within your organization, and you can get them to be saying things like, I got to get to Team Leader. Well, that requires them to become a 1-star, which means volume is going to be created. It requires them to be hitting Success Club. They're going to be developing emeralds and a diamond. I mean, like there's weak side volume for them is now in play. Because if I can get them, I don't care if at the end of the year they end as a team leader. At least they're a 1-star. Like we're so hung up on elite and elite. No, elite's horrible because it's such a big goal and people don't make it. Okay, well, it's the road to elite. And if I don't get there, then let's go become team leader. And if I do get to team leader, well, man, then let's go become premier. And guess what? If I'm premier by September, October, well, shit, then I'll go get elite. But it's okay to like have people on your team saying, I want to end the year as a premier coach. I'll be a 2-star. I'll have 75 points. I will have created 1 diamond. And your business income should increase because now you have a 2-star underneath you that drove a whole bunch of volume that you didn't have to go create all the volume.
Dougie?
Yes. Vicky?
So, hey, so I'm going to keep it real here. So you were talking to Kate about if she's close to 10-star, right?
Yep.
Well, because I'm fucking real and honest, my 5-star is non-existent, and I'm sitting at 2-star in my first CBC. I have business builders in my second CBC, so would it be more beneficial income-wise? Because honestly, I could give 2 shits about rank. I want the income, because I want the income. So would it be better to build 2-star, focus on building 2-star in my second CBC now, or focus on rebuilding my 5-star? Because I had a 5-star diamond elite coach in my first CBC that's now an emerald. And I don't think she's ever going to get her shit back.
Yeah. So the answer to the question, Vicky, is we would have to draw your organization, look at your volume, because let me be very clear, you guys. Rank doesn't matter until it matters. Like I would never tell you go get to 4-star. 4-star doesn't do anything. I mean, like 2-star matters, 5-star matters, 10-star matters, 15-star matters. If you're capping at a rank, which I don't think any of you are, sure, go rank advanced to get to the next level to uncap yourself. So just to be clear, there is 0 reason if you're a 1-star making less than 3,000 a week, then getting to 2-star matters because, oh, hey, there's a bonus there. I want the bonus. Well, if I'm a 2-star, my goal to get to 3-star, well, if I'm not capping at $4,000 a week, then it just all depends. And so then what I would do with you, Vicky, is I would go place your first business center, draw your left and right leg. We got to go look at your volumes on both sides. Go place your second, place the volumes on both sides. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at it and say, man, yeah, I can go build my second business center to 2-star and go get a 3rd business center. Now, I'm doing that at the expense of getting 1 back to 5, okay? So you guys have got to understand, if this year you're going to build 3 diamonds, and you could say, this year I'm building 3 diamonds, I'm going to strategically put these diamonds somewhere in my organization. Where would I put them? Well, sometimes the decision might be, well, I would put one of them in 2 to get it to 2-star so I get CBC 3, and I would put the rest in 1. I just need you to understand, you're not going to build 10 diamonds this year. I mean, some of you might, but the concept is if you understand your business and you understand historically what you've been able to do, and you're like, man, Doug, 2 diamonds in a year is about what I'm probably going to get to. Well, where would I want those 2 diamonds to be strategically placed in my business? So I better be sponsoring by that account. So, Vicky, I'm not telling you, like you got to understand that the worst part about doing a call like this, talking placement and volume, is all of you are interpreting it to your business, and I don't know it, so I can't. Like if I drew, like yesterday, I did Allie Upham's business. I drew the whole thing with her and her husband Brent, and I look at the whole thing in order to say sponsored by who, placed where, and why. And what I do is I just show the picture and the image of volume so that you can say, yep, I should be sponsoring here and I should be placing down here. Now, let me say this. Now, obviously with the spouse account, there's compliance you've got to deal with. Your spouse has to be, if he's a coach, he needs to know he's a coach. He needs to be your partner in the business, all of that. Okay, there is no policy about the placement of volume. You can put volume wherever you want to put it. On his inside weak leg, on your second weak leg, like all of that's under your control as to where you're placing coaches. Let me say this because I don't know who all's listening. Guys, if you don't know that you can sponsor by one and place on an inside leg, you need to learn that. And I say that out loud because I have literally done superstar one-on-ones where they didn't know. Like literally they built their entire business with everything being placed on the outside legs. Anyway, so Vicky, The answer to your question is you don't build for rank. I'm not telling you to build for rank. I'm telling you that I would build for income, which is based on where is my next bonus. Because the 5-star bonus is like $3,000, and it's like, yeah, hey, $3,000's meaningful. I'd love to have it. $1,000 a month average. Like, okay, can I go get that? And if I'm not going to get that, then I'm sponsoring by 2 to what end? Because would I rather have the 5-star bonus or 2 2-star bonuses? I mean, I'd rather have the 5 because it's another 1,000 or so. So, I mean, it's all business decisions on what you're doing. And you have to decide that, hey, my only point to you would be you can't do both. You guys have got to make decisions and you got to move forward. Because a lot of you are like, oh, I got to go fix this. I'm going to fix this. And then I'm going to play with this. And I'm going to fix that one. And when you do that, I think you don't accomplish anything because you're too scattered. And unless you luck out and you happen to place the one coach that's going to build on the right spot, sure. That's why even with the top coaches, it's like, hey, your next 10 coaches, place them sponsored by this one, placed right there. Why? Because I'm looking for the one. You can tell me the 10 are going to do it. I'm just going to tell you, where's my one? And that's where I want. So, Vicki, I know that probably doesn't answer your question, but I would just tell you, you never build for rank. And, you know, when I do one-on-ones, it's so funny because most coaches will dance around. When I say, what are your goals? Most coaches dance around that their goal is income because I don't know why you don't want to say it, but eventually you all say it. And then I write down the word income. And then we talk about you're a business leader, you're a CEO, build your business, go make money. How do I help you make money? You need to understand that my role at the company is that you guys all make more money. Why? Because you're incentivized by money, you're motivated by money, and you'll keep working if you're making money. So it isn't like, you know, we are opposed to, I want you to succeed. I would much rather you place the business properly so that you maximize the volume so you get paid on all of it. It's just, you know, paying attention and doing it the right way.
I have one more question really quick. When you're going in your graphical genealogy and you're clicking the preferred placement, well, I don't know if you remember, but my second business center is placed in the wonkiest of spots. So I cannot actually go in there and zoom all the way out and place.
I'll tell you how to do it. All you do, Vicki, is you go to set preferred placement. You're logged in as one. So we're by one. So we log in as that one. You go to set preferred placement. You type in the coach ID for 2, and then you pick left leg or right leg.
Okay.
Like guys, I don't ever describe the graphical. Why? Because the graphical scares me that you'll start going down a left leg, go change a diaper, and next thing you know, you're going down a right leg, and now you're placing your business center in the wrong spot. Like, don't ever do that. I would totally go set preferred placement. Just make sure you're logged in as the sponsor. You type in the coach ID of your spouse or your second. Like literally, you should never type in another coach ID. Your neighbor, your friend, your buddy. No way. Don't ever do it. I can assure you it's a mistake. Like literally yesterday in one of the one-on-ones, she said, oh yeah, no, I placed my second, it was like their 5th business center, but I placed it under my father-in-law who had to cancel because of tax reasons. So now their 5th business center is on some random inside leg that, anyway, they'll build it and it'll still be okay. But what that does is that means they can never just say sponsored by this on the right leg. It's always got to go inside because now the outside right is less meaningful as going inside. Other questions?
I have a question. So when I kind of got lucky, I guess, when I was trying to retire from teaching, I didn't really understand volume, but I did see that by adding everything to my weak leg, my volume was increasing, and so I just did that. So I have my upline's Emily Skender and her upline's Angie Belmar, and I'm on the strong leg of their strong leg. So I have like a very, very strong leg. Mm-hmm. And so with time, I have just naturally built a massive weak leg. So basically my rank is like everything, all the possibility is on my weak leg. And so where I find that I'm struggling is kind of showing my downline the benefits of rank advancing, because I don't necessarily rank advance consistently, although my income is continuously growing. So it's hard to teach them that they should be rank advancing when they don't necessarily see me rank advancing. So I'm kind of curious what you've seen other superstar diamonds do when they kind of get themselves in a situation where they're not moving towards bigger ranks, maybe. And
so I would answer it this way. So when you have a runaway strong leg, okay, it changes the game in the fact that really your end goal is to get to 9-star in the first, because I don't want you to go put 3 diamonds on a strong leg that you're going to get paid nothing on. So what you do is you got to build 2 over there, because you got to get to 5, and I have a little flying around me. So I've got, you got to get to 2. So you got to get to 5. So you got to sign 2 diamonds on the strong leg. And then literally you build all 7 on the other side. Okay. And then you go build your second and you drive volume. So you're doing it right in the fact that what you're trying to do is you're trying to build weak side volume against a really strong leg. I would tell you that there's some, as the CEO of your business, you've got decisions to make. And, I did a one-on-one with a top coach whose spouse is in the business building with her. And, they told me that their goal is income. And I said, awesome. Then let's draw it. We drew the whole organization, and the answer came back. And they said, okay, so what do we do to make the most money? And my answer was, you build the spouse account, because he's capping and we need to build him. So this year, if I was you, he should go elite, because you need to build him to 5-star, because he's capping at, like 3-star, and we could cap him at 5 if we would advance him. So we ought to go build that. That's the income goal. They pushed back and said, yeah, we're not going to do that. And I said, why? And they said, well, because credibility matters. And I said, you're right, 100%. So I think, Jade, your strategy, you have to understand that everything you do matters, okay? As top coaches, one of the big mistakes that you'll see happen is that, I work with top leaders who will make statements like, well, I don't really recruit or hit Success Club because I'm working deep in my organization. Guys, your team will do what you do, not what you say. You are a leader. And if you have a team page and you're not introducing Susie, who's new to the team page, once a week, they see you not recruiting. So my point is, rank advancement is similar, right? Jade, you want to build a solid business. If you wanted to be a solid 10-star, then you want 10 star diamonds in that business. If you wanted to be a solid 5-star, then you need solid, star diamond coaches. So I would tell you that the Road to Elite is a tool you can leverage to say, guys, we've got to get you to, team leader, which would make them all shooting for 1-star. Then we're going to get you to premier, which would make them all shooting for 2-star. You've also got to understand that those stars that they're hitting, that's all it is rank is just evidence of them signing people that are doing something, right? Because the further I can drive this business and get them to get somebody to do something is volume that benefits you and everyone above you. There's way too many businesses where it's like, I built the business and then I got my spouse to, and I got them to rank, and then I got my second because my sister, and it's just like, dude, you're doing all the work. If you're doing all the work and trying to build this business, you're just not going to build a very big business. Where a big business comes into play is you bring people in who bring people in who bring people in, and now the whole thing starts to really be leveraged, and now volume is generated. So, to your point, yeah, but Doug, I'm not really rank advancing. I get it, and yours might be that, hey, the first business center isn't the one I'm focused on. I'm going to go build my second, and it's going to rank advance. But then you just need to celebrate the second like the first and make sure they understand that that's why it's important to be building towards those types of rank goals.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I've been trying to do. I mean, my third just went diamond, so I try to celebrate in a nice way, like that I've built multiple diamonds, and that if I can build 4, they can build 1 or 2.
Yep.
So that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, and I think, we've actually had the argument, not the argument, but we've had discussions about when a coach hits 2-star in their second, like those are huge accomplishments. They're just huge, because now you're dealing with, guys, I'll tell you this, I know this is being recorded. I looked up Melissa McAllister. So Melissa called me the other day and said, hey, I need to place my 9th business center. And I'm like, holy sock. Like, So it's like a 2-hour one-on-one because we place them all. CBC 1, left leg, right leg. CBC 2, left leg, right leg. 3, 4, 5, wherever it is. Mick, her husband, gets placed wherever he is, and we go through and place the whole thing. Guys, when I was done, I actually made a list. Melissa's business, I know the end game, but she has 2 15-star businesses, a 9-star business, an 8-star business, 2 4-stars, and 2 2-stars, and a 1-star. 56-star is what she would be if it was all in one business center. Like, can't even fathom how you would balance, pay attention to. I mean, I can't even. So my point is, you guys should absolutely celebrate every advancement in every business center as if it was the first time you ever did it, because your team needs, your credibility is very important. And you've got to be establishing that, listen, I'm in this, I'm doing the things, you can see me doing it, and you're a part of it with me. And because they need to know that you're running with them, and they will run with you. And it's like, the hard part is when you slow down, they slow down. It's like, anyway, this is a business where they, you know, your team is paying attention, and they are always paying attention. And I don't know how she manages it. Like, and I'll be honest, I think there is an assistant, but I think it's like, you know, I don't even think it's a full-time, anyway. Well, the question about Melissa McAllister is, dude, 10-time, like she's 9-time elite, 7-time elite 10, and she is number 6 every year. So, I mean, dude, how you do that? Anyway, we should all just listen to her talk all the time.
That was actually going to be my. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I hope at Summit that the leadership tracks will be like tangible things, because we don't obviously need like the fluffy stuff. And so I don't know if you know this kind of stuff, but when you work with the superstars, people like Melissa, do they talk about how they're building relationships with new people that they bring on? Is it a message thread? Is it a group? Is it Zooms? Like, I have an amazing strong leg with almost 6 star diamonds on it right now, but my weak leg is sad. So I understand all the binary stuff. Now I'm working on like the action, the building, the recruiting. But I just find that I don't want to be a boss and a manager. And it's hard to find like the middle ground between let them sink or swim, or like, you know, be their BFF and like butter them up.
Well, and the answer is it's what's cool about the superstar call is they all do it different. Right. There are some that are they do pods of, hey, this is my January new coach pod. This is my February. The one I really liked is they're really getting where they get dialed in is they're like that runner, jogger, walker, where it's like, man, my runners are in a group, and it's like, hey, it's okay to go become a jogger. I'm good with that. But, you know, this is the runner group. And so they really are. And I will tell you, you know, one of the big ones this year was the Haley Christian, you know, hey, I'm doing one-on-ones with my coach. It's almost like what Sydney does or the coach development team does. You know, we meet with coaches one-on-one. The relationship, the opportunity to, you know, kind of mentor, you know, one-on-one is important. And I think that the top coaches they're paying more attention to going back to, hey, if I want someone to build, I'm going to give them my time. You know, you guys got to understand that social media is such that, you know, if I meet someone through Instagram, you know, I don't even know they're a real person until, you know, they reach out. And when I get on the phone call with Melissa McAllister, I'm like, okay, wait, what? Now what do I do? And, you know, it's like there's a level of confidence you give me because now I have that personal conversation with you to run with you. And so the answer is they're doing lots of different things, but most of them are having some kind of a new coach thread, I should say. I don't know if they're necessarily groups or they're just chat threads where they're running them together. And so they're bringing them in groups, but then I think they're trying to break off the runners from the joggers and the walkers. But the relationships are 100% key. And, you know, getting people early wins is important. I mean, it's all the things.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the system of, like, I think it's great what Haley does, but she doesn't have a kid. I'm not doing 31 one-on-ones a week. Right. You know, like I can't do 31 one-on-ones. I would die.
Yep.
That's not my personality type. But I feel like, you know, I'm really good at getting the coach started, but then it's like managing the awkwardness of the relationship. Like you follow up with me in a week, or like, let's have another call in a week. And I just haven't really been able to get that down with like the 2019 crew. So I don't know if anyone else.
I would tell you, Colleen, that if you can get, I mean, if you let your brain go into this idea of 10 coaches, who's the one? Like, I'm looking for the one. Like the 10, I can have them in a group, blah, 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 blah. But I'm really looking for the one. And, you know, who's my next diamond? And like really mentoring and building the relationship with one or two coaches. And, you know, certainly all 10 are important, all 10 I'm trying. But I think you guys as leaders are always paying attention. And you need to your point, I'm a busy mom, I got all this stuff. I'm not doing 30 one-on-ones. Well, I think you ought to be doing 2 or 3. Like, you ought to know who your runners are and be putting time into those guys. And guess what? You'll be wrong. And then Susie over here will hit Success Club 10 and you'll be like, oh, I'm going over here. So it's like, you know, it's also a balance of where you're paying attention.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this may be very basic, so I apologize if it's repetitive, but can you explain a situation where you would want to log into your second CBC, for example, but place somebody under another, when you put in another coach's number, like a husband's account or a different number? Do you ever want to do that?
Well, the only other, so let's be very clear. So let's just give a fundamental 2-star and above business, because you guys are, there's you. Let's assume there's a spouse account. We'll just put it on the left leg. And let's assume that the second business center is on the inside leg of the spouse account. Okay? So if we understand that dynamic, I should grab a whiteboard. What that does for you is you then look at it and you say, I'm sponsoring by 1, but I'm going to place it on the left side of 2. So I'm logged in as 1. I type in the coach ID of 2, and I just pick left leg. So when I say left leg of 2, that's on the left side of 1, even though it's on the right side of my spouse, but it's on the left side of 2. So it goes on left side volume of 1. It's, you know, if they built to diamond, they would be a left side diamond to 1. But so just to be clear, I'm not typing in any other coach ID except when I want to put it on the right side of my spouse, I would type in his coach ID and pick right leg. If I wanted to put it on his left leg, I could just put it on my left leg because that's his left leg, right? Because he's just in the middle there. So like, am I losing you or you got me? Like, let's make sure we don't leave this call and go place a coach underneath somebody random. We should only place coaches. First business center, second, or maybe a spouse account or a third or whatever.
And that's mostly for volume that you would place it on a different spot.
Yeah, 100%. So it's volume. So just a minute. Let me grab, takes me a second. I just don't want you to be messed up on this, so I want to make sure you get it. So just to be clear, this is you, number 1. Right? Left side, right side. Let's just call this spouse. Left side, right side. And then we're going to call this you, number 2. Left side, right side. So what I do in a one-on-one is I do 6 weeks average volume right here and right here. Okay? Then I do 6 weeks average here and here, and then I do it here and here. So I have numbers on each one of these legs. Okay? Is Kate still on here? Kate, can I show your image from December? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, just a minute. So when I did a one-on-one with Kate, I want this one. This is Kate's diagram from last December, okay? Left leg, so her spouse is on her right leg, her second business center is on the left leg of her spouse. See, so I number the legs. I say, Kate, when you became a coach, you got a left leg, leg number 1, and a right leg, which is leg number 2. When you signed your spouse, you got a 3rd leg, and when you signed your 2nd business center, you got a 4th leg. Okay, why do I number them? The reason I number them is because if you say to me, Doug, I'm going to sponsor and put it on the right side of my 2nd, I want you to say, I'm sponsoring my 1, I'm placing it in spot number 4. So I know there's a very clear understanding of what we're doing and why, and that you understand it, okay? So when you say to me, I'm sponsoring by Kate number 1, but I'm going to place it under Kate number 2. So I'm going to log in as Kate 1, I'm going to type in the coach ID to Kate 2, and then I'm going to pick right leg and I'm going to put it in spot number 4. Does that make sense? Okay, and obviously this is hers. So, and you can see her volume is balanced at the time, which balanced volume gives you freedom to place on any leg. Okay, meaning she could go place in spot number 1 because it's not weak to strong, it's actually balanced. 65 to 8 is a balanced set, so she would still make income by placing in spot number 1. But she would make more money if she placed in spot number 4 because she could get paid in Kate 2, in Curtis, and in Kate 1. But sometimes you have to place in spot 1 because she needs diamonds on her left side. Does that make sense? Sorry, I can't see the chat thread. Yeah, I still need those diamonds over there. Sorry, Kate. To be clear, you're placing in your 1st and placing in spot 4. That would be on the right leg one side. So yeah, let's be very clear. So I've got spot number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this scenario. Okay. If I'm sponsoring by 1 and I place in 2, 3, or 4, those are all on the right leg, which is this one little line right here between me and Curtis. Everything underneath me and Curtis is my right leg. So all of these would count as diamonds on Kate 1's right leg. If I place over here, then that's my left leg because I don't have any business centers that are me over there, so I'm just placing on the outside over here. So, and Colleen, to your point, the Leadership 2 workshop at Summit will be, you've got Voris and McAllister coming into that one. Actually, Kim Carver and I are training volume in there. And, it'll be good. We're actually going to approach it. We're going to approach it as the top 10 things about volume every 2-star and above ought to know. So we're trying to build workshops based on being a 2-star or above and being in the room. It'll probably be a lot of what we talked about here today. So Alethea, does that answer your question for the Kate thing?
Yes, it does. I need to look into mine. It's actually set up exactly the same as you just drew it, but I need to look into volume and all of that. So thank you. That does make sense.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I'll just use big numbers. 10,000. No. Let's assume this is 3,000. I know I'm using too big and you'll say, no, I wish my volume. I get it. So then let's call this 2,000, 1,000, and let's call this 800, 200. See, this is the perfect scenario, okay? If my volume was like this, I'm weak, strong, balanced, weak, strong. So I shouldn't say it's the perfect, sorry. Erase that. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. What I was getting at is, if this was, let's call this 2,500 and this 500. See, if this was my scenario, I want you to understand, if I had 100 volume over here, cycle bonus, I make 0 because this goes to 10,100 versus 3,000. I make nothing. You guys see that? You get that? Okay. So if I add 100 here, I make 0 here and I make $18 here, assuming this is a diamond. So what I do is I say, man, this is an $18 spot. Okay, let's number them. These are different colors so we're not screwed up. This is spot number 1, number 2, the 3rd leg here, 4th leg here. Okay, you guys see that okay? I can never tell what you can see. So if that's an $18 spot, because I added 100 volume here, I make nothing at my spouse, but I make $18 at one, because this would go to 3,100 versus 10,000. I would cycle again. Everyone with me? Okay. So let's go down to spot number 3 and let's add 100 here. Well, it's strong to weak, so I make nothing here, but it's weak to strong. So I would add 100 here. This 100 would add to here, it would add to here, and it would add to here. So I would make $18 at my spouse, assuming he's a diamond, and I would make $18 at one. This is a $36 spot. With me? If I go add 100 here, I'm adding it on a weak to a strong. I'm making $18 here. I add that added 100 here. I make 18 here, and I make 18 here. So now you're 36, 46, 52. This is a $52 spot. Now, that's an example, but the reason that's important for you to understand is when you look at your business, you need to be placing volume based on where it pays you the most money. But then if I have a coach who's working, let's say I have 2 coaches, one's right here, and she's awesome, she's killing it, and I've got one right here. And she's awesome, and she's killing it. And I've got the baby, and so I'm like, I just am crazy busy, I don't have time. I got time for one phone call today. Well, who am I going to call? Well, holy hell, call this one, because if she does stuff, it pays you 3 times. This is a $52 phone call. This is a $0 phone call. Now, that's a very CEO mentality. It doesn't mean I don't love this person any less, but I need to be able to say, with the value of my time, where would I put my time? Well, I'm going to put it where it makes the most sense as you as a CEO approaching the business. That's where you guys have got to get in your brains as far as approaching this as a business.
I have a really quick question, one more.
Yeah.
So now we've been talking a lot about volume with my team and stuff, and kind of teaching them more about it. Some of them who are not even emerald, or who are just emerald, right? Like who were, I guess, pushing for diamond. Now they're looking at their volumes and they're seeing one leg is, like insane, and then the other leg is basically nothing. And so then they're like, wait, why am I shooting for diamond when like putting people on that strong leg to get to diamond is like silly? And I'm just, I guess I'm trying to explain to them, or I'm having trouble explaining why they should, build for diamond when they haven't even, they're not cycling at all right now, or barely. So I don't know whether the priority is to, okay, let's get more volume on that left side, screw diamond for a minute, or like just build 4 and 4. Do you know what I'm saying?
If I was, so think about it. If their business is this, right? So let's just place, and let's just say this is their world, and so this is you going up here, right? Here's Jamie. So then this has got some volume happening. Let's just call it 800. And now they're new, but they haven't sponsored anybody. Well, number one is they got to go sponsor somebody and somebody to become an emerald.
Yeah.
So they had to put somebody on the strong leg to get to emerald. When they get to emerald, that opens up $14, right? So then I'm now building towards diamond. What would I do? Well, I would probably go build all of these before I would come to that other side. I mean, I would be strategically thinking that, man, there's no volume here. I'm going to cycle at $14, so I might as well go run all of these over here. And if one of them happens to go to work, right, now I'm starting to cycle, and this is starting to make money, even off of me being an emerald. Well, I mean, at $14, I can only make $250. If I take $250 divided by 14, I can cycle 18 times.
Which is a lot as a new coach.
But so the point is, at some point, I should go pop these guys up, right? But I mean, if you're thinking about it, I would go build the weak side first, and then I would go run that other side, because I would like to maximize as much as I possibly can. But I would also say that in the beginning, what you're doing as a leader is you're as a newer coach, that's why those challenge pack commissions are so important. That's why giving them $50 a challenge pack is to keep them in the game, so that $50, so if they sell 3 challenge packs, even in a month, they make $150. Well, I mean, that $150 is 10 cycles. So sure, you might be giving up cycles by building to diamond on the right side, but you're taking that money out of the compensation plan via the challenge pack bonus. So, by all means, you can be a little bit more strategic about it, but in the very beginning, really, because the volume is so low, I don't even know if I get to a volume conversation with anybody until they're a diamond.
Yeah.
And, because let them just live off of the retail commissions that are coming in off of the challenge pack sales, with the idea that, and once we get you to diamond, it'll be $18 and then we'll maximize it. So I would be very careful introducing this depth of comp plan to an emerald or to a new coach. I would keep them focused on the challenge pack bonuses. But you can be smart about it and just say, hey, we're just going to help you place. And you can build them a couple of cycles so that they got it. And, it's just.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I wouldn't overcomplicate the business. Like I don't do this talk with diamonds. Like, that's why when Sid said, Doug, come on this call, it's like, with you guys, I'll cover all of it. But, you got to be, when I go to a retreat, I'm always like, very like, wait, who's in the room? What level is this? And how far can I go? Because I get into all of this, I can bury people in confusion, and then they stop working because they don't know what the freak to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Other questions? Final? We done?
You guys good? Any other questions? Okay.
And Sid, we can come back. I mean, obviously, anytime you get me, we'll come on and let's talk about it. And
yeah, let's do a recap.
Yeah, and we could do if one of you was willing, we could do a live one-on-one with all of you, and I'll draw one of yours, and we'll just kind of vet it out. I'm game. I don't, whatever.
We should do that. That's a good idea.
Cool.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, sounds good. We'll call. Thanks so much, Doug. Thanks, everyone else. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good day.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.